Hello, I'm Dr. Sessions for Camaradio, and we are joined by Mike Green and Whitney Tai, musical artists that are preparing for their tour branded the Record Store Tour, which swings through Permanent Records in LA on June 7th and then hits our very own American Pie Records in Camarillo on June 8th. You're calling it a live in-store experience. For someone hearing about it for the first time, what would they expect when they walk in?
When they walk in, they're going to be entered into an environment that is essentially experimental, which we're using to combat the threat that corporations pose to independent businesses and artists alike. So what we're going to be doing is two individual acoustic sets, one of Whitney's records and songs off the new record American Wasteland, and then another acoustic set with select songs off of Hang the Moon. And we're going to be joining each other, and following that will be a meet and greet listening to the record. So we're going to spin it in store, and then we're also going to be giving off some raffles. So we're going to be doing like a custom guitar giveaway for Schecter. So for every purchase that they get with the vinyl, they're going to get a free Art and Rev tote bag, which is another one of our sponsors, Art and Rev Cocktails, and a chance to win a custom electric guitar. So it's cool. There's a lot of cool prizes in like albums, stickers, tote bags, a chance to win a guitar, hear some new music, all while supporting independent mom and pop shops and two independent artists.
Yeah, and I think the great part about it too is to encourage physical ownership again of music. Digital streaming has wreaked havoc on artists globally, and we're trying to encourage people to get back out into their local communities and encourage people to own music and to rediscover the magic and the value of having a CD or a vinyl in your hand, because there's a story behind those physical assets that get lost in the digital waves.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that definitely resonates with us over here in the community radio side of things, because music has been kind of devalued or becomes marginalized over time.
Yes.
And the area in which you experience it, the context and the forum that you hear the music makes a big difference as well.
Yep.
It's
For
true.
both of your products, I was looking, so you both have new albums that are out, and both of them are not just simply a collection of songs. Mike, you have work with a named photographer that you're featuring, and Whitney, you have a whole bunch of special releases around the materials. You have a cassette release and special vinyls. It seems like, you're trying to make it more than just the music. Do you want to speak a little bit on what, where you were going with those projects, and if we'll see some of that in the tour as well?
So I've always been very much into physical merchandise. I have a background in architectural design, and for me, making physical designs and having people experience that firsthand. The Sonics are one stop on the meter, but it's like there are so many other stops on the meter where we can also consume art with all of our senses, and that's why merch is like super important to me. And for this release specifically, since the album harks back to the 90s and even the 70s and its folk sort of framework, I really wanted people to really feel part of the record, part of the visual story. Mike and I both worked with Joey Cultus for our art direction, which is a cool sort of tandem thing that is part of this tour. The visuals are all by the same creative director. And it was important for us to remember how exciting it was to go to the store. And Mike was just talking about the other day, going to a Strawberry FYE and just putting the headphones on and being able to preview an album and just the magic of that, which you get to understand the artist, you get to dig deeper into the catalog, to the B-sides, to the deep cuts. And I think that was also like important, like our.
Did we lose Whitney there?
Oh, we might have lost her a little bit,
Okay, good. I wasn't
but
sure if that was just me.
I don't know if she's still talking, but to conclude on that, it's really important that physical ownership comes back, because I think we exasperated ourselves by explaining what, like, the plight of independent shops and independent acts and artists. I think the customers need to understand that they themselves are also being fleeced. Whether it's with their own identity and lack of finding a personality for themselves that they resonate with, or just understanding that they probably have to stream like 50,000 songs for their $15 to make sense. You know, it's like it's not really suiting anybody well. They'd be almost be better off purchasing a single record a month and becoming a more refined citizen due to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
I mean, on the positive side, while I was looking into this, it's actually for the last 9 years, vinyl retail purchases has increased over time. So there's
yes,
a there's a at least a model for it, and it's growing. So that's encouraging, at least, and
yeah,
kind of creates a bed for
yeah.
the tour like this.
Absolutely.
Um,
And this is my first vinyl. I've done CDs in the past, and I'm a CD buff. Like I grew up, you know, collecting many CDs.
Sorry.
I love oh hey, there's Whitney.
hey, Whitney.
He's back.
Sorry, my phone overheated. I'm like literally sitting in the shade and my phone is still overheating. I'm like trying not to let it get hot, but it's
It's the man
I'm gonna
trying
go
to
in the
shut
back
you
seat, I
down.
think.
You were speaking
I
truth, and the
know.
man tried to silence you.
Yeah.
It's true. I'm telling you.
So I did spend some time listening to both of the albums, and one of the things that struck me is on a record store tour, it kind of lends itself to a more singer-songwriter kind of vibe, scaled down kind of live approach. But both of your records have some pretty big sounds, and full bands, and a lot of kind of for me theatrical kind of aspects to it. How do you prepare for a tour that might be in a place that's kind of has 6 to 12 seats and a little bit of
Yeah.
standing room in between the aisles?
I think I actually, not to put words in Whitney's mouth, but I know for a fact I speak for both of us when I say we, as writers, put out a product that we know would work stripped down as well. Like I'm a songwriter first and foremost, and then a producer, guitarist, singer. Everything else kind of comes secondary to me, just structuring a tune that would work with just my voice and a guitar. And I think that kind of speaks to the zeitgeist and ethos of our tour, where it's like take all the bells and whistles of the digital sphere away. It's like, what do we have? It's like, can we still communicate? Can we still relate? And can we still resonate, I guess, and I think we can. And I think this tour is proof of that. And I know that we're going to rock out, and our songs they sound very powerful on their own. Just even with Whitney and I harmonizing with one another, our voices together are so, I don't really know the right way to explain it, but they function so well together, and
Harmonious.
they empower each other. They're different tonalities, so we're never stepping on each other's toes, and it's like this beautiful orchestral kind of experience.
Excellent. And you'll
I
both be
agree. And I
performing
think,
together as well
Yeah,
during the
yeah. So
excellent.
yes.
Whitney's singing harmonies on some tracks on this album, and I'm not on American Wasteland, but I have performed with Whitney in the past. So
Yeah,
you know,
he's my
coming,
bass player.
yeah, I play bass
Uh,
and in her band and stuff. So I'm going to be accompanying with her on guitar for a few songs, and as well as harmonies, and she's going to be harmonizing with me. So there's definitely going to be some continuity between the two of our sets, even though we'll be
Yeah.
performing different songs.
And
Excellent.
also I think like Mike and I thrive in these spaces like that are smaller that may not have the full production, because like when I especially I know I could probably speak for him when I say this as well, is that we've both literally got our teeth cut on venues that gave us a chance to like work out our music in different spaces over the years. And like when I didn't have the ability to always have a full band, or when I didn't have the ability to be in a space where the sound was superb, you really have to come prepared with rearranging your songs in a way that can still allow the listener to experience the songwriting and the vibe and the rawness and the ferality of it all. And I think the only way to do that is to get control over your songwriting to a degree where people know it's you, regardless whether there's bells and whistles or just you and a guitar.
And also to just tag on to that, like
Yeah,
this tour is an explanation of what's happening. It's a microcosm of what's happening on a macro scale. Like we are
yeah,
left to our own devices, and we have no choice but to, walk our own path where there is no path.
yeah,
And I think, would we rather have a full production band to show you guys the full scope of our reality that we built in our minds? Absolutely. But in these times, it's tough to afford those things, and those privileges are now new luxuries that the independent artists are facing, where it's like do we risk not having shows altogether, or do we wait for the band show where we can afford to pay everybody and make sure everyone's well fed? So it's like, we're working with what we got, and we believe
Yeah.
so highly in what we're doing that we know that's going to penetrate through the ethos of everyone else as well experiencing this tour. And we hope that it accrues something much larger, just an independent movement altogether, and this, again, like a magnifying glass on shops and people and individuals that need support more than the Foo Fighters or more than people that have been around who are legacy artists. It's like these guys did not grow up having to listen to Tin Pan Alley like over and over and over and over again. So I don't know what's going on. Like we're all collectively experiencing amnesia or something, but there's a music revolution happening right now, and most journalists are quiet about it. So we're just trying to bring it to the forefront,
Excellent. Yeah. And, like that's something that at least I personally, I joined the radio station here about a year ago. I went to an open house at American Pie Records to join the station.
Nice.
And there's a lot of energy of people that are just looking for something like this, like where they're coming in, they're asking questions, they're interested in coming down to the open mic night. And there's really not a lot else to do here unless we're going to go down into LA. So I think it's there,
And I don't know if you've noticed, but it's rare to come by a band nowadays. It's a lot of bedroom artists, a lot of people left to their own devices. And what is missing, in my opinion, is the collaboration, is the community. And that's what this aims to build, again, is to, there's a lot of record stores that I approached. They were like, we can't take your record. Like, just people don't buy it. And everyone directs everyone to their Bandcamp or something.
And also like the messaging.
Here.
The messaging of both of these records as well is very important in this moment. I mean, the lyrical content behind both of these records speaks to the youth, and it also hopefully speaks to our generation that lived through all these changes. So we're hoping to bring a new shed or like an awareness around what music means now in the current zeitgeist of what we're experiencing as the industry changes and molds into something else.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. So now you're taking a lot of the cycle on yourself. Like, you talked about forming street teams and, engaging local businesses. That's a lot to take on onto your shoulders. How do you balance that versus like your primary creative output, and how has your experience been trying to get it off the ground this way up until now?
Well, Whitney can let you know how I've been tearing my own hair out.
I would say that
sort of
there's no other choice. Like, we've been cornered into a position where the artist is the butcher, the baker, and the cabinet maker, and so you really have to just show up, all hands on deck. Hopefully you have close people in your team giving you support and giving you guidance, but a lot of the times artists are doing everything themselves. All the magic that happens is happening in the comfort of their own home or with very little means. And I think it really speaks numbers to know that like artists are so well rounded now. I wish we had more time to just be creative and have funding and support around these other things, but I actually feel like it's helped me to better understand my listener, the patron who's coming up to my show, to get closer to them and build community, not just at the show, but like it's given me a sense of community and just like how I am able to connect with people from doing something that is related to my art, but it's bigger than that. We're doing a movement, and every time we have to release a campaign like an album or a single, there's so much that goes into releasing something. So this is the same process, is that no one sees the blood, sweat, and tears. They only see just this big product, and that's false. There's so many grueling hours that go into making a tour happen, a record happen. And it's not all fun, but what is fun is when you're out in that room singing and everybody there is enjoying themselves and you can feel the love in the room, and you know that all that time was not spent in vain. But I do wish we had a different model for how artists are supported in these tasks we're taking on.
Yeah, I also think that's what's happening right now is this collaboration between Camaradio and ourselves and uplifting the community for for both of our Los Angeles performances at American Pie Records, right, and at Permanent Roadhouse Records, which those dates are on June 7th, June 8th. And we're just excited to meet people in our area that we live in. This is our home.
Right.
So the community here is extremely important to us, as well as, abroad and where we're going to be traveling throughout this tour.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's tough. Like my album came from a very sad place. So I was kind of coming into this thinking that music is my ultimate savior. But I'm not, I'd be lying if I said that Whitney wasn't a light. Like, she kind of has held my hand through this and kind of kept me hopeful. And I believe in the music at the end of the day. And I believe if the music saved me in my life, then it's going to save millions of other people who are like me. So, and I
his
really
music's
believe,
already saved my life.
yeah, and I believe in that to a point where, like, I'm willing to pull my hair out for all this stuff, because I really do think at the end of the day, someone is going to resonate with this in a way that's going to make their life make a little more sense. And I'm not saying that it's going to solve anything, but it's definitely going to make you feel less alone in the madness of it all, So.
Excellent.
That's
Oh,
beautiful.
yeah, it's such a positive message. I did have one more question. I wanted to try to get a soundbite out of you around it, but it's kind of more of a downer topic. So but you've touched on it a few times already, and I know you want to say it. So a lot of listeners, they use streaming every day. I do as well, for very casual things.
Sure.
And for the casual listener who might be listening on the radio right now, they might not be as aware of the economics of streaming versus whether they go into a record store and buy a piece of vinyl in the store down the block. Do you want to speak a little bit more about that in specifics, and how,
Yeah.
give us something to chew on?
Yeah. Well, I think something that's the best takeaway from all of this is that if you purchase something physical, it cannot be manipulated. The bit rate can't be changed. The Wi-Fi is not going to go out. No one can remove it from their catalogs. You could spend something and it might not even be there forever, right? So you're spending money to rent something, but the idea of the power going out, and if you have a generator, you could still play this stuff and it'll bring back all the nostalgia you had when you originally purchased it, is something that a lot of kids like Gen Alpha, Gen Beta might not be discovering or accessing because they stream so often. But ultimately, like, as an audiophile, like, I don't enjoy the quality of music, like, not the music, but like the quality of it. Like, it gets squashed a little bit, even though some of these sites offer lossless audio. So I am working solely with Dolby Atmos formats. My album can be experienced in the physical realm, sure, but if you are on the digital platforms, it's only going to be accessible to like Apple, Tidal, Amazon, and Deezer, and Dolby Atmos. I don't avidly want to support digital streaming that not only
Exploits us.
exploits the artist, but is also funding terrible thing, funding war chests and funding things I don't disagree with. Now, I'm also not naive as a businessman, and Spotify still accounts for a lot of the streaming, probably double what their nearest competitor does. So I'm only putting my singles available on there as like a end of the aisle free Costco sample sorts, and if they want to find the record, it's going to work like it used to, where it's discover something about yourself ultimately. It's not really about me.
What Mike is also talking about is exclusivity. It's like, I think if we encourage our listeners to go somewhere where we value the music, that they too will revalue or relook at how they value music. So it's like like with that end of the aisle Costco thing, I love that analogy, because what it's saying is like, you love my sounds. Okay, well, come and support me on my platform and stop giving money to corporations that don't pay us and leave us. They're cutting out everyone. They even cut out the people that keep their platform going. And I think that that's a really bad business model for them. If anything, we get our power back by encouraging people to buy physical. And look, if you want to stream, we all stream, but at the same time, buy the song, own it, like, show your support, share it with people. And we're all in like this isolated box now of like not really being very social or sharing things. And I think we can encourage other people to get back into that, how important that is as a community, even online. So.
And ubiquitous nature can be very dangerous, right? It's like if everything's homogenized, then what personality is there to have?
It's true.
So it's like if you focus on your own communities, if you pick up your own trash, these little microcosms have such a macro effect at large scale. So when you only spend on corporations, but then also have the cognitive dissonance to say, I don't like the way they're treating us, or why are they calling me a consumer? I should be a customer. Like, I want to put quality into products that people deserve. And my customers, my future fans, deserve a great script. They deserve a great album, great music, something to make them think and sink their teeth into, like you said. And I don't want that type of art and quality in art to go away. So I think we're just championing our predecessors and carrying this torch into the new digital sphere that's, that we're kind of tethered between a physical reality and this digital one. And I think our music reflects that greatly. So.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, and it's something that you're never going to get if you just listen to the recommended by Spotify after whatever you selected.
And here's the thing, and like I said, it's really not about the musician. Like, these customers who are being called consumers because we're indebted to these people who are kind of upset they have to go through us to get their money, essentially. It's like they think that we have no choice but to use their product. So when someone says use social media every day, well, that's the billionaire corporation telling you to do that because they need you to. It's like you want to build your own consistency and your own world and your own love, and you want to share that and not let anyone dictate how much you should or should not give. I think it's just, all I'm saying is, like, own your again, I don't know, but like, own it, like, just own your stuff, like, own your movies, just take ownership. It's costly at first, but we all pay down the road when, like I said, everything becomes homogenized crap.
Yeah. Own your consumerism. Take your money and put it where it belongs instead of where it's easy.
Yeah.
But
yeah. It's easier said than done. And, like, I never want to shun anyone for doing something convenient for themselves, because I also fall into that. Like, it's not like I don't use Amazon or something. Like, I try to cut it out when I can, and and try to support people when I can. And those little instances go a long way, even if you do them every now and again.
Yeah, it's just as easy to type it into the Google search bar instead of the Spotify search bar and go to someone's website instead.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
exactly.
Yeah. Excellent. All right, so bringing it back to American Pie Records, you'll be in town June 8th. You want to go over the details one more time before we wrap up?
Yeah, you take it, Whit.
We are going to be there on June 8th. I believe our set time is
it's 6 to 8:30.
6 to 8:30. Yeah, we just confirmed that, actually. So
yeah,
it's good. So 6 to 8:30. We're going to be doing, as Mike said, we're going to be performing from our albums Hang the Moon and American Wasteland, and we will also be doing a listening party and a meet and greet and signing. And it's going to be a fun party. You get a free custom limited edition tote bag with every purchase of a vinyl of Hang the Moon or American Wasteland, and you can enter a raffle to win a custom Schecter guitar. And what's cool is if you want to join our street team, which is available in a bio of my Instagram, there's lots of details in there on what you can get as prizes for joining our street team and helping us raise awareness of this event. The more people you bring out, the more prizes you get. So we're stoked to get people involved and having fun and just supporting their local businesses and showing up in a way where we all need each other right now to uplift all the tides of every avenue of independent, artisanship.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for spending the time. Mike Green and Whitney Tai, we'll hear your music on Camaradio between now and then, I have a feeling. So stay tuned and we'll play some here. Thank you so much, and we look forward to having you in town.
Thank you,
so
sir.
much.
Dr. Sessions, you rock.
You're awesome. Okay.